Okay, welcome to the video. Welcome to the show. Um, Today's the Saturday show, and typically we would have some talking points and what sold, and that's still going to be the case. But I think I'm going to stop saying talking points because yeah, I've been adding talking points to my videos during the week. So yeah, I'm not going to really save anything for a Saturday. I'm just gonna if I'm making more videos, so if I have anything I want to bring up, I'll just bring it up in a video, and I just don't want to forget about it. Basically, is what I what I'm trying to say. But what do we have today? We have some talk. As far as talking points go, we have the October update that occurred, and just one thing I want to look at, which is feedback, and pretty much it as far as e-commerce news, eBay news, Goodwill news, Thrifting news. Not really, pretty quiet week. I mean, everybody's concentrating on the election, of course. That's coming up. The big deal right now. To me, it's gonna be business as usual. That could be affecting sales. People could be worried about it. Um, it could be just drawing everyone's attention. Too much attention. They're not really paying attention to anything else. So, as far as sales for the week, Wednesday and Thursday were pretty slow days. Overall, in the week, it's done pretty well. We tend to look at everything at a day by day basis, because you get that ching. But you really take a step back and look at the week, look at 2 weeks, look at the month to really get a good sense of how things are going as far as your reselling business. Taking it day by day really isn't just. I mean, it's a small sample size. Really got to take a step back and look at the broader picture to see the overall health and see how you're doing. I was over at eBay this week. If you've seen my videos, you heard me talk about it, but not really much I can actually talk about. But every time I go, they always give me cool merch, and I got a stainless steel tumbler here. I got another coffee mug as well too, travel one. They gave me a cool charger here, which is just a little wireless charger. But the cool thing here is a cross pen. Now, when I was younger, and by younger, back in the 80s, cross pens, if you came to school with a cross pen, you were the most popular kid in school. They were all chromed out or gold. And it was just really, I mean, we're big on I think stationery had its day. Uh, Back in school, I remember when people would come with the latest and greatest mechanical pencils. I remember, the clickers to advance the lead was on top, and they moved it down to where your fingers were at. I remember when those started coming out. Um, and then we had a very popular stationery store. I don't know if it was just local to our area or just local to California, but it was called McWarthers, and they had tons of stationery, and some stationery was very, very expensive pens as well too. I remember when they got the space pen, it was like $80 or $100, somewhere around there. Of course, I always wanted the space pen. A little excessive, thinking back of it, that's excessive for a kid, but something I did once. I got it later in my years when I was older to buy it myself. Of course, I would have liked to have my parents buy it for me, but looking back, it's excessive to have had that for school. I do remember, like I said, I remember kids coming to school with the latest and greatest stationery. And let me know in the comments if were we just nerds or. But I remember a lot of people in school, you know, collecting stationery, bringing stationery, showing off stationery. So let me know in the comments down below. My dad always had cross pens. I believe he got it from IBM. He worked for IBM for a long time. And I remember him always having cross pens, and I would always borrow them and use them. And yeah, really cool, really cool. Dang, IBM. That was. If you guys know anything about San Jose, IBM was San Jose. Or San Jose was IBM. I don't know. It was a huge campus. I actually learned how to drive on IBM campus. Really cool, and a lot of cool times there. And I remember there was these pens, these mechanical pencils that my dad would get from there. They're like maroon, really cool. Really like the way they wrote, and I would always use them in school. The one thing about them though, they had like this really tiny, skinny eraser on the end. Those would, I guess, with all pencils, those things would always go the quickest. You never had enough eraser, but okay, let's get into the news. uh, Where are we at? Oh, seller update should pop up on the screen here. Where are we at? Oh, the insurance. Oh, I did want to talk about the insurance really quick too. But let's look at the feedback first. Updates to our feedback policy. So they've been talking about changes, updates to feedback, and what are they changing? Removing negative and or neutral feedback if a buyer has asked to cancel your order after placing it, and the seller denies their request, and they leave a cancellation. They leave a negative feedback, negative or neutral feedback because you denied their cancellation. So it states here, sellers have the discretion to accept or deny a cancellation request. So, I mean, it's good. That's probably been in the fine print for a while now, as far as cancellations go, but good to see it here and good to see it in writing. I recently had over the last holiday weekend, I had 2 people request cancellations because the shipping was taking so long. They don't know that the post office was closed on that holiday. But typically I would recommend just canceling it and reposting the item. But I was in the heat of shipping, and when I'm shipping, that's all I'm focused on. I'm focused on getting the shipping done, getting things out, and that's all that's on my mind. Shipping, get everything boxed up, labeled, all that. So I went ahead and automatically, just print out the label. I was going through the process. I saw the cancellation, but I was kind of like, I'm going through the motions here. I'm just getting things out, and it automatically denied their cancellation request. So, and I never heard anything back from the buyers. They got their items. Guessing they're happy about it. But good to know that, first of all, I can choose to accept it or cancel it, and that if negative feedback comes in because of that, it will be removed. Now, will this wording be in the automatic, the system when you send a message saying I want this removed, to eBay, and their automated systems will automatically pick up on it? I don't know. You might still have to talk to a live person. Either way, I would recommend talking to a live person, which means you got to do battle with a chat bot for a little bit. It's not too difficult to get them to call you back, but you do have to, go to war a little bit with that chat bot, go back and forth for a bit. But good to see this. Then they offer you an example. They purchased a set of golf balls, request to cancel it because they found it cheaper. Let me know in the comments, do you guys ever get these types of cancellations that someone found it cheaper? I've heard that recommendations are being sent to people upon checkout saying that there are cheaper options. I don't know. I haven't seen that myself, and I've purchased some Legos recently, Lego minifigures recently, and I never got recommended anything. But I think on Amazon, I know I see recommendations for cheaper items. I have not experienced it on eBay. I have received the cancellations saying that they found it cheaper. It's kind of annoying, as a seller. You really, it's kind of irritating, but it's a part of business. It's part of selling things, especially online, because there are cheaper options all over the place. So, and then the next one here, when a buyer changes their mind about the purchase and references being charged for the cost of return label. Now, this might not really apply to me because I offer free returns. I think I've heard once of somebody complaining about how are they going to get charged for the label or not. But typically it's a free return, and I get charged for the label. And but I'm guessing that this is a common issue, a common problem, and now they're saying they will remove negative feedback if this is in there. So again, is this going to be added to the automatic chatbot? The automated system, or do you have to talk to a live person to get this removed? Obviously, trying to get a hold of a live person does take a little bit, like I already said, takes a little bit of time, takes a little bit of time out of your day. Annoying sometimes that you have to, do take time out of your day. I know, time is valuable. I'm going through, shipping items. I'm trying to go to, source items. I have family life, and, I would prefer not to have to, take a few minutes out of my day. I would like the automated system to handle everything for me. But we'll see. We will see about that. Um, I might ask about that. I might reach out and see if and bring that back to you if that is the case. And then they give you an example. Obviously, a person the bracelet after receive it, they decide it doesn't suit their style and they want to return it, and they realize they'll be charged for the eBay return label, and they leave negative feedback about it. So, okay. So pretty cool that they're making change. I would like to see some more reasons in there, of course, as a seller. I would like to see more instances where they will remove negative feedback, but we'll take what we can get. With the insurance part, what I wanted to, so do you guys purchase insurance out there? I don't. I hardly ever purchase insurance. Good to know. I guess they're increasing it to $5,000. The last time I did purchase insurance, it was for a $650 item. It was a comic. It was a collection of Star Wars legend stories. And I did purchase insurance on that to kind of cover the cost, or to make sure, to save the sale, basically. Everything arrived safely. So I, basically, I don't know, did I throw my money away? I guess buying insurance. Again, the cost of the actual item wasn't very much. I picked up at Savers, and at Savers it was considered a book, so I think it was still like $5 for the book, but for every fourth item or fifth item, you get one for free. And I remember they had a bunch of the not the same one. They had all different these comic books or collection of comic books, and I just bought them all. So you get like a free. I don't know if all Savers do this, but our Saver, I think you buy 4, you get the 5th one free, if I remember correctly. I haven't purchased a bunch of books that cost at Savers in some time, but either way, as far as insurance goes, I'm in the process of trying to get 2 items, trying to get the USPS to pay me for 2 items that they lost. Not too expensive. I did recently get $119 back for an item that they did lose. And there's 2 other items. I think one was 13 and the other one was 27. So these 2 items are more typical of what I've experienced in the past with trying to get paid from insurance that the post office is offering, and it's just impossible to they're sending me messages like incomplete information. Go back in and fill out your request again, or we need more information on this item. You didn't describe it properly, and it's like, oh, they just give me the runaround, and that's what I'm used to. So when I got that earlier insurance or that money back, because there was insurance on the item, I was a little surprised and taken aback. I assumed automatically it was going to be a loss. Looks like I'll take a loss on a couple of these other items. Good thing I didn't pay too much for them, so that is good. However, has anybody used the alternative shipping and had to file a claim? I've used it before, but I've never ever had to file a claim with them, so I don't know how that works. Is it easier than USPS? It is an additional charge. I mean, with Ground Advantage now, you automatically get insurance with, I forget what I think it's up to $100. Not really sure. Let me know in the comments. But you automatically get insurance for those items. So, I mean, I guess if you're selling, higher end designer bags, higher end electronics and stuff, good to know that they're additional an additional insurance. You can get more. You get up to $5,000 here, but what's the hassle factor? I guess is what I'm trying to get at. What's the hassle factor with ship cover? Has anyone ever used it? Has anyone ever had to file a claim with it? Let me know in the comments, because I don't know. Okay, let's go ahead and close that out. And then we'll move on to the what's sold part of the video. But I'll go ahead and cut that. I have a few things to do, and you might see me change of clothes, because I'll do that later today. Okay, well, it didn't change very much. I did add a little light over here, so I'm hoping I'll kind of brighten things up a little bit. I think the hat, or like a little shadow is cast over my face, so you may see light in my glasses because I can see it right there. But hopefully it helps brighten things up, brighten up the video a little bit, make it a little bit cooler. But where's that lint at? There it is. I can't see it. All right, let's get into the what sold. And first thing here, we have a Tide stain brush. So you definitely want to look out for these electronic home cleaning devices. They do incredibly well, especially if they're brand new. You can still sell them used. Obviously, if they're used, they don't bring as much. But something like a electronic toothbrush, you can't sell the heads used. This would be a device where you can actually sell the head, everything used as well too. Check the battery compartment to make sure there's no corrosion. I don't think soap you can sell used, although I'm not 100% sure. I know, hygiene items you cannot sell used. I don't know about detergent. I've never attempted to sell detergent. This is my first, I think, detergent product, where it comes with a little bottle. It's brand new and all in the package. So I don't think, I'll have to look that up. I'll have to report back later. But look out for these little electronic cleaning devices. They do really, really well. I think a lot of them are discontinued. I believe that's the reason. They just don't make them anymore. And so people still look out for them. I don't know how good they work. I know there's attachments for your drill that you can get to help you scrub and clean things better. But Tide stain brush, laundry, cleaning. I separated the brush from the stain brush as well too, to kind of capture that market. It is still a brush. Then of course, stain cleaner. I added stain and brush separately into the listing. Electric, because it is electric, and discontinued because this is no longer being sold. And it sold relatively quickly. I mean, it sold within a day after me listing it. And what did it sell for? I'm never really prepared for this part. I should make a list. Is what I should do is probably just make a list of all these sold, so I can just pull up a list and I don't have to, go back here into my. Oh, come on. What sold for the week here. $30. So for $30, shipping was $6.63, and went in a padded poly bag. I added a little bit of bubble wrap to it, about 2 wraps, and then threw it in a padded poly bag. So really cool. Be on the lookout. I don't find them that often, but they do come up from time to time. Let's close that one out. And the next one here. Okay, this was a Sailor Moon anime, very, very popular character, and I actually picked up a bunch of these. Now you have to be careful. So, and the reason why I bring this up, I mean, Sailor Moon, I think, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know anime at this point sells. Anything anime does really well. Sailor Moon is a great character to look out for. Not everything Sailor Moon does incredibly well, but this sold for $9.30, $8.06 is what they paid for shipping. It was about it was £1. And this went in a padded poly mailer. Set up 2 of these. Now, you got to be careful when you're buying in bulk. So I bought all these in bulk, assuming they were all the same. I bought a lot of them. I mean, I have probably somewhere about maybe about 100 to 2. No, probably not 200. Probably somewhere in the range of about 100 to 100 and maybe 50, somewhere in there. I remember I counted them up when I first bought them, but I just kind of stashed them in the corner. I don't remember. They've been sitting for a while, and they've been selling for around $9 to $10. And you got to be cautious when you're buying large bulk items. When you think, I was at the flea market, and I paid $25 for all of these. We're going to make an incredible amount of money on this product. I already made great money on this. The problem is that everyone is different. Well, some of them are the same, but a lot of them are different. There's different variations. One of them has yellow scissors with a pink eraser. Then the next one has a blue scissors with a pink eraser. And then there's a pink pencil box. And then there's a clear pencil. I'm like, I'm gonna be if I were to make, I would have to make all individual listings for all these because there's just too much. There's a bunch of variety. Like it's kind of odd. I thought it would be some sort of, yeah, I could take the time to go through it, but there's a lot of them. So what I decided to do with this in this instance, so when I bought this in bulk, I love buying items in bulk, especially if it's a great price. Um, what I'm doing with this is I have the same listing. Now I could go in there and do like multiple quantity. I could go in there and say, you might not get the ones that are in the picture, but that opens up, a whole different can of worms. You might get those buyers who actually read it and understand. Okay, this is cool. I might get some random, some random colors, different colors, but then you're gonna get those people that bet I want the one that is in the picture. I want the one that you are showing me. And I'm like, oh, then that would be annoying because you either got to get a return or refund them their money, or you can just ignore them and accept negative feedback. But so I chose to just have these all sit in the corner of my garage, and every time one sells, I just recreate the listing. I just sell similar, and I just take new picture. I just grab two, take new pictures, and then sell it. It's not. You do get you do get a bit of a boost when you have multiple quantity and one sells, and then you still have more quantity left. You do get a bit of that listing does get a bit of a boost. So I am sacrificing that, but due to the popularity of Sailor Moon, due to the popularity of anime, that's what I'm kind of going off of, and that's why I'm kind of doing it this way. As soon as one sells, boom, sell similar, take pictures, list it again. However, my recommendation would be if you have something like this and they're all exactly the same, just list multiple quantity. You can go in eBay and actually there's a toggle to change your listing, so that way it'll say like, zero quantity. Like if you sell it, it just doesn't go away. It stays out there as zero quantity. And that's kind of a way to kind of game the system, to kind of take advantage of that listing boost that you get when you have multiple quantity. However, I don't really like it. Sometimes I go out there and search for listings, and I'm doing research, and I'll come across ones where there's zero quantity. I'm like, this doesn't, it's been like that for a while, so I don't like it, so I don't do it. But it's up to you what you would like to do. And once you do the zero, if you do that feature on eBay, it goes across all your listings. You can't do it just for one; it's for all of them. So if you're like me and you're out there finding these cool, unique items, you don't have multiple quantities. Some items I do, most items I don't. Then I don't even bother with the quantity thing. Okay. So that's the story behind this. And that's why I wanted to bring this up. Definitely look out for Sailor Moon stuff. It sells incredibly well. Anime does incredibly well. This, if it was not branded anything, I would not be picking it up. But I wanted to bring up the subject regarding what I was doing, my plan with these items and this multiple quantity thing that I found. So, okay. Close that one out. Oh, yeah, I already gave you all that. I thought maybe I didn't do the listing, the price and all that. Okay. Now, in case you didn't know this, and I haven't seen anybody really bring this up lately, but you'll want to look out for these talking fish, wall hanging plaques. It's meant to mimic, if you caught a fish and you mounted it. And it sings, I forget what this exactly sings, but this was a catfish one. If you can find, the most common is Billy the Big Mouth Bass, and that's the most common out there. They do well around $20 to $25. If they're brand new, obviously they'll do a lot better. But this one was brand new. This is a catfish, so you want to look out for the more unique, other than the Billy the Big Mouth Bass one. If you can find the catfish one, there are others out there as well too. This one did well, and it sold well. I didn't sell it as brand new because it was out of the box. So I was like, I sell it as used, and it sold for $27. The shipping on this was $13.91. With all electronics, you want to make sure that you check the battery compartment. This one here, as you can see, it has the VTG in the title. I did not mean to put that in there. This is me being a little bit lazy and not double checking the listing that I was using. I did borrow somebody's listing because I don't sell these all the time, so I don't have. I would generally favor using my own similar. Like if I have a purse, a new purse, depending on even if it's a different brand, I'll just pull a purse listing that I already have because I've already cleaned that listing up. I didn't have any of these singing fish listings that I can pull from. So I was like, all right, I'll just, I searched for one, pulled it up, and it still sold incredibly well, but I forgot and missed taking out this VTG because I would not leave VTG in there. Nobody's in there typing in VTG and searching items. Like I talked about in a previous video, I would potentially put vintage. But this was, these are really cool. These pretty much just sell. You list them, you find these singing fish. They're by Jemmy usually, and you list them, and they do incredibly well. They sell almost all the time, and they sell relatively quickly. So get them relative. Don't pay too much. I wouldn't pay more than maybe $5 for these pieces. Maybe a little bit more if it's tested and working. If you see it actually working, maybe a little bit more than that. But around $5 is going to be safe on these. And this one went in a 14 by 10 by 6 size box for this item. Really cool. And, it's very easy to ship. You just wrap it a few times in bubble wrap. Just kind of protect the plastic part that's behind it, the actual plaque that holds the batteries and everything. The rest of it, it's like silicone, so you'll be fine. I still wrapped it in bubble wrap anyway, but if you put it in a box, you're perfectly fine shipping this out. Okay. Next item here is... Okay, we got a couple of heat sinks here. These are... heat sinks are coolers for computer parts. They're basically, the chip gets pressed up against the, if you see the flat piece, let me do my mouse here. If you see the, this little flat piece right here, that is where the chip, which gets the hottest, will, be pressed right up against it. And what it's doing is basically absorbing that heat and transferring it out to, the bottom part. It's all silver, but it's been chromed. That part that touches the CPU is typically copper. So if I were to scrape off the chrome part, you would see copper underneath that. Copper is an excellent conductor of heat, so it's pressed up against it. It's pulling that heat off of the chip, and then there are what we call heat pipes. They help to wick heat away from a certain, from one place and take it to another place. And so that heat is getting transferred into the heat pipes, and they're getting transferred out into these fins. If you see a car radiator, they have fins, very, very similar type of, design. And it wicks all the heat into the fins. And typically these would have fans attached to them. Now, when I bought these two, these actually came with several other heatsink apparatuses, or cooling apparatuses, I should say. And those ones were actually to NVIDIA 4090 GPUs. How do I know that? Because they have the shroud with them, and the shroud is the part that holds the fans, and it usually has all the branding on it. And so I was able to easily determine which one those were for, and those all sold for $80 and $90 each. These two took a little bit longer to sell because I had no idea what these went to. I'm assuming they went to either NVIDIA 3080s or 3070s, although I'm not 100% sure. But I sold it as I have no idea, basically. Computer GPU heatsink for graphics cards. These are graphics card heatsinks. They have, this is what they look. This is what most graphics card heatsinks or coolers look like, minus the fans. So sometimes they will have fans. These ones did take a little while to sell. The other ones that had the shroud, had all the branding, I had all the information on it, sold quickly. These ones had, I couldn't determine what they were. I got a lot of questions, do you know what these go to? And I have no idea what they go to. If I knew exactly which GPUs they went to, they will sell a lot faster. Would I recommend people picking this up? Yes, because there's no moving parts. There's nothing, like no electronic or anything like that on these. Even if they come with the fans and you have all the all the markers to be able to identify it, it's a very rare instance when those don't work. Why do these come off of GPUs? Because people are upgrading them, usually to a water cooling situation, trying to get more performance. If you can get your chips cooler, and they can operate at a higher frequency or basically faster, is what it is. So these tend to get, taken off, and then people stash them away. They forget about them, and then they end up donated, or they end up at a flea market, or they end up, in a storage unit, and then that storage unit ends up at the flea market. So when I was, these were found at a flea market. When I was walking by, I identified the GPU 4090 ones first, right off the bat. And I pick up the shrouds. People still look for these. There's still, a need for these items. Sometimes people need to revert back. Sometimes their fans go out, and then they need the fan shrouds, even though these don't have the fan shrouds. These can be used in other applications to cool other parts, or you can actually, there's a lot of similarity when it comes to the companies that make the GPU board. The GPUs, there's only two types. Well, there's a few GPU makers out there, but the big dogs are NVIDIA and AMD. As far as the cards, those are a bunch of different companies that actually make the cards the chips go on. And there's there's a lot of overlap as far as design goes, and there's a lot of the same. So these will probably fit multiple designs. But there's other applications for these as well too. They are cooling units, so buy them if you see them. If you see anything like this, it's going to be tough. The bigger, the better, usually. If they're bigger, that means it went on a more higher end card. If it has like 3 fans, 4 fans, really thick heat sink, really thick, fins, heavy, it probably went on a more higher end card because those ones generate the most heat. Okay. Can you tell I have a little bit of knowledge on that? Oh, I didn't tell you. What do they sell for? I got these really, really cheap. I think I only paid $2 for these. And then the other ones I paid for the other ones that had the fans and everything, I paid $3 a piece. What am I doing here? Next going forward, I need to make a list, and then so that way I can quickly, easily find what I paid for them, how much shipping was, how much they sold for, and then the shipping. So $40.21 is what they sold for. Shipping was $7.86, which means they went fairly close because these are fairly heavy. And these went in a box, 12 by 8 by 6 box. So 12 by 8 by 6? 12 by 8 by 6. I'm pretty sure. And then the last piece here that I'm going to show you is one of those pieces that kind of reassures me that I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what I need to be picking up because there is no sell-through rate. There is none of these that were listed on eBay. There was I couldn't find anything on the web, nothing. There was no data to go on. Zero. But I thought it was cool. It was a little just, I think this was from, as you can see, Myers Safety Switch. So some sort of electric company. I'm not 100% sure exactly what this is exactly for, but it was probably posted somewhere in some job or job site. The company is from San Francisco, which if I put San Francisco in there, it is brass. And what did it sell for? These things you gotta get really cheap because it's always a gamble. You never really know. But I trust my instinct. I trusted what I bought and sold before in the past. $17.71 is what this sold for. Shipping on this was $5.97. And again, it's just went in a padded poly bag, an easy piece. It's not going to break or anything like that. It was solid brass. It was actually kind of heavy, for what it, for its size. It was a little bit heavy, but just really cool. I mean, this is just one of those items where there's zero doubt. I couldn't find anything on it. There was no information at all. Zero information to go on. I was going purely off instinct, purely off, my 24 years of knowledge of selling things on eBay. And it worked. We're not getting rich here. Let's be real. I'm not going to get rich off selling these little pieces here all the time. Also, too, this probably had to wait for the right buyer. Who knows? And I'm hoping I'm using all the appropriate keywords to try to get this sold. And sure enough, I did. I used the proper title, proper item specifics and all that. Although there wasn't much to go on. There wasn't much even in the item specifics that I could select from. Great pictures. There was. I think I took a close picture and a rear picture. The rear of it was just, it was just brass, blank brass, but really cool. Just a little sign, probably, you know, a little nostalgic piece for somebody out there, and they found it. Where are you going to find this stuff? You're not going to find it anywhere, because I didn't find it anywhere. You're going to have to go to eBay to find it. And it's cool. It's a really cool piece. You know, it's easy to store, easy to ship. It's really thin. I mean, super thin. So piece of cake. Piece of cake item. You only want to spend about $1 or $2 at the most. You know, $1 would be, you know, if you do find this out there, $1 would be, you know, where I'd be really, really comfortable at purchasing this item. And it sold. Really cool item. I enjoy selling these items because, you know, it just, like I said, it proves that I know what I'm doing. It's just proof that I'm good. All right, that is it. Let me close this out. That is it for the video. I do have to edit, have to put this through the editor, just because I created I did this in two shots, so I'll take a little bit of time to get this up. This will probably be up a little bit later in the day, Saturday, just because it's late. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Maybe a live. Maybe we'll do a live on Sunday. I'll see. It'll pop up randomly. So if you are interested in catching me live at all, make sure you hit the bell notification along with subscribing, of course, and you'll see when I go live. All right. See you in the next one.